What if I told you that the greatest structures ever created on Earth were built more than 4,500 years ago? In a time when humanity had absolutely no modern machines, no cranes, no engines, no electricity, no steel tools, no industrial systems, no digital computers, no satellites, no laser measuring devices, and no scientific construction technology as we understand it today. And yet, despite all of these extreme limitations, there still stands in the heart of the Egyptian desert a structure so massive, so perfectly aligned, so mathematically precise, so astronomically connected, and so structurally advanced that even modern scientists, engineers, archaeologists, historians, and physicists, using the most advanced tools ever created by human civilization, still cannot fully explain how it was conceived, how it was designed, how it was organized, how it was transported, how it was lifted, how it was assembled, and how it has survived continuously for thousands of years through earthquakes, erosion, sandstorms, temperature, extremes, wars, invasions, and the natural decay of time. And this structure is known as the Pyramids of Giza, and they remain one of the most mysterious, most studied, most debated, and most controversial architectural achievements in the entire history of mankind, constantly challenging everything we know about ancient intelligence, human evolution, and early engineering capability. And the biggest question is not just what these pyramids physically are, but how were they actually built, and what truth has been lost, hidden, misunderstood, or completely erased across more than 4 millennia. The Pyramids of Giza are located on the Giza Plateau in Egypt, near the modern city of Cairo, positioned strategically on the west bank of the Nile River, where ancient Egyptian civilization once flourished, and they were constructed during the Old Kingdom period of ancient Egypt, approximately between 2600 BCE and 2500 BCE, a time when most civilizations around the world were still developing basic agricultural societies, while Egypt was already executing state-level mega-engineering projects that would define human architectural history. For thousands of years, these pyramids were built for three powerful pharaohs, Khufu Khafre and Menkaure rulers, who were not only kings but were believed to be divine incarnations, living gods on earth in ancient Egyptian religious ideology. And according to their belief system, death was not an ending, but a transformation into an eternal journey where the soul would continue its existence in another realm of reality. And therefore, the pyramid was not simply a tomb. It was a sacred cosmic structure, a mathematical monument, a spiritual machine, and an architectural gateway connecting the physical world with the eternal afterlife. Designed with the purpose of preserving the body, protecting royal identity, and guiding the pharaoh's soul into eternity forever. And to achieve this, ancient civilization constructed something almost beyond modern comprehension, using millions of massive stone blocks carved from limestone granite, basalt, and other extremely heavy materials sourced from distant quarries. Some of these stones weighing 2 tons, 5 tons, 10 tons, and even up to 15 tons each. And all of this was achieved without cranes, without trucks, without iron tools, without pulleys, without engines, without lifting systems, and without any modern construction machinery. Instead, they relied entirely on copper chisels, dolerite pounding stones, wooden sledges, rope systems, manpower, and highly organized human coordination. And yet somehow, these enormous stones were extracted, transported across vast desert landscapes, lifted into position, and placed into a structure with a level of precision so extraordinary that even modern engineering systems struggle to replicate it accurately, even with lasers, computers, and digital modeling. And one of the most deeply investigated mysteries in archaeology is how these massive stones were transported across the harsh desert environment. Most historians believe that ancient workers placed these blocks onto large wooden sledges and then used highly coordinated teams of laborers to pull them across the sand while water was poured onto the desert surface to reduce friction, allowing the sledges to move more smoothly and reducing resistance. But even with this method, the true challenge was not only transportation, it was large-scale synchronization, because millions of stones had to be placed in exact positions, forming a perfectly aligned geometric structure, without blueprints, without mathematical software, without modern surveying instruments, and without engineering calculations as we know them today, and since cranes did not exist, ancient engineers are believed to have constructed enormous ramp systems that allowed gradual elevation of stones as the pyramid structure rose higher over decades of continuous construction. And these ramp systems may have existed in multiple engineering forms, including long straight ramps extending outward from the pyramid, zigzag ramps running along the structure, edges, spiral ramps wrapping around the pyramid body, and even internal ramp theories suggesting hidden passage systems used for lifting stones upward. But despite decades of excavation research and archaeological analysis, no complete ramp system has ever been definitively discovered, leaving this explanation still uncertain, heavily debated, and one of the greatest unsolved engineering mysteries in ancient history. And for centuries, it was widely believed that slaves built the pyramids under brutal forced labor conditions. But modern archaeological discoveries have completely overturned this belief, revealing that the workforce consisted of highly skilled laborers, trained engineers, experienced craftsmen, and organized construction teams who worked in structured rotating shifts, lived in planned worker settlements near the construction zones, and were provided with food, shelter, medical care, and daily supplies including bread, meat, fish, vegetables, and fermented beverages, showing that this was not a system of slavery, but rather one of the earliest and most advanced examples of large-scale state-organized mega-engineering projects in human civilization. And even more astonishing is the level of intellectual and scientific capability possessed by ancient Egyptians, because despite lacking modern tools, they demonstrated advanced understanding of geometry mathematics, astronomy, and structural engineering principles, allowing them to construct monuments with extreme precision and long-term stability. The Great Pyramid, for example, is aligned almost perfectly with true north, with only a microscopic margin of error, something that would still require advanced surveying technology even in modern construction. And some researchers also propose that the pyramids may have been aligned with celestial systems such as the Orion constellation, which held deep mythological and religious significance in ancient Egyptian culture, suggesting that these structures were not only engineering achievements but also cosmic representations, connecting Earth architecture with the universe itself. And the construction of the Great Pyramid alone is estimated to have taken between 20 to 30 years, requiring tens of thousands of workers, continuous planning, massive logistical coordination, quarry management, transportation systems, ramp engineering, and the placement of millions of stone blocks, one after another, forming one of the most complex, most ambitious, and most precisely executed construction projects ever attempted in the entire history of human civilization. And even after more than 4,000 years, the pyramids continue to raise profound unanswered questions. How were such massive stones lifted to extreme heights without collapse mechanisms? How was such perfect geometric alignment achieved without modern surveying instruments? Why do hidden chambers, unexplained voids, and internal structural anomalies exist deep inside the pyramid? And why has no complete written construction, manual architectural blueprint, or engineering record ever been discovered, despite overwhelming evidence of advanced planning, organization, and precision? And so the truth remains partially buried. Within history, sand, silence, and time itself, the pyramids were not built with machines not built with modern science and not built with advanced technology, but were built with human intelligence, discipline, coordination, mathematics, engineering, creativity, patience, endurance, and an unimaginable level of determination and precision. And that is why the pyramids of Giza still stand today, not only as ancient tombs, but as eternal symbols of human capability, ambition, mystery, and one of the greatest unsolved enigmas in the entire history of civilization. But the mystery of the pyramids of Giza does not end with their construction, because these ancient monuments contain many more secrets hidden within their massive stone walls. And to understand their true importance, we must look deeper into the world of ancient Egypt and the civilization that created them. The ancient Egyptians were not simply builders of giant monuments, they were experts in organization, observation, and adaptation. Their entire society was connected to the rhythm of the Nile River, which provided water, food, transportation, and the foundation for their civilization. Every year, the flooding of the Nile brought fertile soil that allowed Egypt to grow powerful and wealthy, and this wealth gave them the ability to organize enormous projects like the construction of the pyramids. But building a pyramid was not only about having resources, it required a vision, a plan, and generations of knowledge passed from one generation to another before the first stone was ever placed. Architects and engineers had to carefully study the land, calculate measurements, and create a design that could survive thousands of years. They needed to understand weight balance, pressure, and geometry, because a single mistake could destroy decades of work. The Great Pyramid of Khufu became the largest and most ambitious of all the pyramids, reaching an original height of approximately 146 meters and containing millions of carefully placed stone blocks. Its base covers a huge area and its four sides are aligned with incredible accuracy toward the cardinal directions north, south, east, and west. This level of precision shows that ancient Egyptian builders possessed knowledge that was far more advanced than many people once believed. The interior of the Great Pyramid also reveals the intelligence of its creators. Deep inside the structure are complex passages, chambers, and corridors, including the Grand Gallery, the King